Hey guys, it's Rhonda with Blessed in the Mess. I know it has been quite some time since I've done a video. Actually, probably it's been, gosh, I want to say almost 2 years maybe. Maybe next month or something. But it has been definitely an interesting 2 years to say the least. I know in the past I've come and shared videos regarding addiction, and Blessed in the Mess was a ministry that my husband and I started that was designed to help families that were struggling with addiction, as well as people who were struggling with the addiction. And it was just our goal to kind of support people and pray with them, and just kind of stand beside them and say, hey, you know what, we're in the middle of the mess too, and we totally get it, and we understand there's an enemy trying to attack your family and your life. And also my son, who struggled with addiction, allowed me to understand mothers that were struggling with their children, and then of course my husband, I could totally understand the wife's perspective as well. And so we were actively helping other families, and I really feel like it's what the Lord has called me to do. And in the middle of all of that, of trying to establish a ministry and help people, my husband and I, we were still struggling in our marriage. He had a 2-year, just shy of 2-year sobriety, and he relapsed. But during the time that he was sober, I was still seeing some behaviors that were not just right. And it took me a while to figure out what was going on. And so if you just so happen to have read in the About section of this page anything recently, you'll know that a lot of things have happened. I've tried to keep you kind of up to date of what's gone on, but about, I guess, 19 months ago, I guess you could say, my husband and I separated after he relapsed. And it was just in the best interest of our marriage, and for my safety and sanity and my child's safety, for us to separate, and we did. And ultimately, addiction took his life about 4 months ago. He died from a drug and alcohol overdose. And so it has been a very interesting ride, to say the least, over the last couple of years. And I have been posting things throughout this time, sharing things, but I haven't really come to you in a video. But I do feel now that I am prepared for that. And I think I just needed that time for healing since he passed away, sorting out feelings, dealing with anger and grief, unforgiveness, all those things that you have to deal with when someone, tragically dies. I've had to move through the process of all of that. And all the while, for a long time, I've known the Lord has called me to help and share. Even when he and I were together, I felt that the Lord wants me to share with other people via Facebook. And so now it's just a little different, I've got more things to share, more things that I've learned, things that were going on in his life that were affecting me and my family outside of an addiction. So that's what I hope to set out and do, is to share with you guys things that I've learned in the journey, And hopefully, if I can prevent some of you from making the same mistakes that I made, and or help you get out of the mess that you might find yourself in, that's what I am planning to do now with Blessed in the Mess. And so you will be seeing more videos from me as I continue to share what's been going on in my life, and what I endured and seem to have survived in that relationship. So I'm excited about it. I know that God has great plans for the mess that I went through, and you know, He has plans for everything, all things, and I would be doing a disservice if I didn't share what I've been through. That's how I justify it. I would be holding back on some information that could save lives if I didn't share it, and that would be terrible. That would be wrong. So you're going to be seeing more from me, and I'm excited about it. I will say this, that there is help and there is healing for those of you that are struggling in toxic relationships. There is definitely healing for you. It's out there, and I hope that I can be a vessel that the Lord uses to help those of you who may be struggling in toxic relationships that do or don't involve substance abuse. I definitely know very well what it's like to be in a relationship with an addict, if you will. And unfortunately, I know exactly the pain and the anguish and the devastation of losing a spouse. Regardless of the fact that we weren't together, we were still married, and I actually filed for divorce 10 days before he died. So, you know, going through the divorce process is something that, you know, I'm familiar with too, and the separation and the preparation for the child custody that we were going to have, you know, all of that was fixing to take place. I had struggled with, you know, for the past 15 months before he died, struggling with how am I going to protect my child, you know, now that I'm no longer going to be there to protect him. You know, I had to go through all of that craziness and the stress of all of that. So I can relate to you who are out there in toxic relationships with children. It's a tough place to be. But I know that marriages can be saved. I'm part of a ministry now called Restore to Freedom, and this ministry has gotten many people set free from some of the demonic spirits that haunt people who struggle with addiction, and many marriages have been saved. And you know, I hope to be you know, just a tool that the Lord will use to hopefully you know, set some of you guys free, and maybe put you on a different path to healing and restoration. I was struggling with a lot of physical issues towards the end of my marriage. I mean, I was having tremendous back pain. I was starting to have some breathing issues. I was having a lot of that fight or flight thing, you know, where, you know, your blood pressure, you know, was going through the roof, and you're in a constant state of protecting yourself. You know, I went through lots of crazy stuff, especially towards the end of our marriage before he left the house. And so, you know, those are the kind of things that I want to talk to you about and share my experience, and hopefully it will enlighten you, or the Lord will use it to reveal things to you. I know in the beginning of my journey of understanding exactly what was going on with my husband, God just used other people's experience to speak to me. I mean, you know, I started researching and trying to figure out what is going on, and I would hear other people's testimonies, and I would be like, that's what I'm experiencing. That's what's going on with us. That's what he's doing. That's what I'm doing, you know. And it was like God used other people to set me on a journey that literally has changed my life for the better. And so hopefully that is his plan, that he's going to use me hopefully to help other people who are in similar situations. So I hope that you'll continue to join me as I do videos. Feel free to share them, and please comment if you ever feel like you need to. If anything ever touches you, if there's a Me Too moment, please feel free to let me know that. And if there's any way that I can help you, if you need to send me a private message or anything, if I can pray with you, say prayers for you, you have prayer requests, just shoot them to me. I'll be more than happy to partner with you in that way, just like we always did. And so hopefully we can continue as I share my story with you. And I thank you for watching, and I hope that you'll stay blessed in your mess.